GameWorn Radio is on the air.
Hey! Shelton scores! Up in the Cordova, baby! We're going bowling. Now, let's go on Moose on a Harley. The fires, he scores! LA face with an Oakland booty. Make me a bicycle club. They score! Bowmeister paid that man his money.
GameWorn Radio.
Hey everybody, it's Derek with GameWorn Radio, part of GameWorn.us, and I am here with Dan, Bobby, Tom, Doc, Derek's joining us, Christensen that is. We got Pete and Marco.
Oh my god, thanks for introducing me that way. That's good.
Yeah, so today's topic is going to be about the friendships that we've created through GameWorn jersey collecting, and anybody has stories about that, as well as like maybe some of the experiences that you've gotten to have purely because of collecting, which is pretty cool. And later on, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the plans that we have going on to try and get an expo going, and Derek Christensen is going to be able to help us out with that. So to lead off the conversation, I would like to say, you know, most of my friends that I have at this point in time are primarily because of jersey collecting. One of my better friends is Paul out in San Jose, and because of Paul, I've actually been to, I would say, more San Jose Sharks games in the past 3 years than I've been to Red Wing games in my home area, which is really cool. I mean, and we help each other out with a lot of stuff, and it's been a really cool experience. And he's actually one of the first solid people that I actually met when I started collecting jerseys. So that it kind of just cultivated into its own thing, which has been pretty awesome. And then I have Marco, who calls me on the Sundays that we don't have radio shows and talks to me while I'm laying in bed.
I was pretty hammered.
Sounds dirty.
How much do you
my
pay
defense.
a minute for that?
It's
No,
like,
I Skype, man. Skype.
I was gonna say it's $1.99, but really with the exchange rate,
Whatever.
39
Pretty good.
cents. 1,900.
it's more like
GameWorn.
a boot, $1.50.
Is this about? I thought this conversation was supposed to be about friendship, which
Or
is
killing friendships.
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing tonight.
Oh well, Jason, you've been around for a little bit. What we got going on with you in your neck of the woods as far as friendships?
Oh, and it's, I mean, it has been enjoyable meeting. I mean, going back to some of the first forums and making deals with people and still staying in contact with those people to this day, and then say getting in contact with you more, Derek, and getting involved in the radio show, and it just seems to ever expand. Even if I haven't made deals with collectors or trades, just talking to Pete and Bobby and Dan and Tom and all you guys in the show, I interact with you outside of the radio show, and I mean, just not even always hockey stuff or jersey collecting, but it's neat to have the contacts all over, and even have people overseas that we've talked to and have become friends with, and carry on conversations beyond just the jersey stuff. And it's social media and just the technology has made it so much more fun, because I mean, previous to that, when you would just have the collector meetups, there was a very small pool of people, and yeah, some people came from far away, you could be friends with them, but with social media and just Skype, I mean, we can talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime.
And you've got a plan to meet Bobby soon, right?
Yes, yep, in mid-July.
Yep. Yeah, I think the whole social aspect of it has been pretty incredible. I mean, I started doing this. I joined the forum on GameWorn.net in 1999, and you know, Jason, I can't remember. I don't know when you joined that forum, but I definitely recall interacting with you way back then, because I think your handle was just .noise.
Yep, and it was probably somewhere in that time frame or a little bit past then.
Yeah, and you know, you met people like the person who got me into the hobby is Scott Himowitz, who used to be Laser 110, and I mean, we still talk, but the way that things have evolved from a social media perspective. I mean, hell, between Dan and Jason and most of the guys on this call and others, I mean, I'm talking to jersey collectors several times a day now, and that wasn't otherwise possible. It's really, really, it's cool. It's added a completely different dynamic to like, overall the experience of the hobby.
Dan was rolling through my neck of the woods, getting up to Michigan from Virginia. Not Virginia. Is it
Michigan.
Virginia?
I'm in Virginia, but I was in Flint, back home seeing family.
Yeah. So he rolled to my place a few weeks ago on his way through. They stopped at a walleye game, so he got to see my basement and everything that I got going on. It was pretty cool to see him.
Yeah, Derek frisked me before I left.
Yeah.
Make sure I didn't take anything.
Well, you gotta protect your assets, man. You know the drill.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. The social media has taken us to a whole new level. I just looking at the collector's map. You started a collector's map on the forum today, or you started a collector's map before. And when you look at that map, without social media, we would never know each other, other than maybe if you made it to a show once a year, or something like that. And now
You
you're
had
able
to make it to a show before
right
social
now you're able to interact with people, and like Doc said, you can start the conversation out with the jerseys, like what you got, what's going on, and then it can just roll from there. And that's been cool about it, and then you can Skype people, you can message people. Bobby went to the game tonight. I looked on the thread, we're all busting his chops, because he's sitting there like a bump on a log, So, but you couldn't have done that before, we wouldn't have never been able to do that. So I think it's added a whole new aspect of it and allowed us to get together when we are in each other's neighborhoods. Even if it's just for a few moments, But yeah, I got to stop by, see Derek's stuff, meet him face to face, and roll to the walleye game, and go from there. So I think it's great. I think it's give you something to talk about, give you something to look forward to.
Now, one of my favorite experiences, and this kind of leads into the experiences, but one of my favorites so far, I mean, there's honestly a lot, but one of the ones that I like to think about a lot is when the last Detroit Toledo show, I had a bunch of people at my place crash for the night to go to the show, and Derek was one of them. Paul came out from San Jose, and he was there. I also had Joel, who hasn't been around lately, but he's been around. They crashed at my place, and then we went to the Expo, and then we went to the game, and that was a ton of fun. I got the guys into the autograph line for the players after the game, which was really cool. And then the guys that could, we went with Francis Wright to Home Slice Pizza, this little hole in the wall, man, and just having everybody there after the game and just bullshitting. It was such a good time. And it's a lot of times it can be the small stuff like that. It really sticks out in your mind. Nothing significant happened. It was just a bunch of us together bullshitting. It was great.
Yeah, I'll just pick up off of that. I mean, the show itself was cool, but like you said, Derek, what I remember most from that weekend is hanging out. Like you said, going to the game, going to get pizza, hanging out at your place. I mean, to me, that actually sticks out more from that weekend than the Expo. I mean, as good of an Expo as it was. But like you said, it's the interactions you have with people is what really makes it, I think.
And I think that's a lot of what that is it goes beyond just getting together and say, hey, I'll trade you this jersey or I'll buy this one, and what a cool collection you have. But be able to just kick back and come together and have a good time, have a few beers, and become friends from this. I mean, we've even talked about if we put something together somewhere is playing hockey as well. All of us that play and be able to expand out. But even just to sit together and BS and have beer, you're going to remember that long after some jerseys have been traded back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, I think people really underestimate, the value of friendships that you can make in this hobby. Because then you always have people that are kind of looking out for you or looking out for your interests as well. So, I mean, not only do you have somebody to talk to all the time, but people think of you. Like when I go to sales, I think about, what is something that people would want, and can I get that for them? So I mean, that's always a nice thing. I mean, somebody found shit. That was you, Jason, wasn't it? No, it was Drew Conklin. He found a Red Wing authentic jersey at one of those Goodwill places, and he picked it up for me and sent it to me. And he didn't want anything for it, and I was taken back by it. It was really cool. Just people thinking of you because you're in the hobby and they know of you, they know what you're collecting, and I don't know, for some reason, just it can leave you speechless when you have that moment,
Oh
And-
yeah.
This conversation is really starting to piss me off. I would run over my grandmother if she came between me and a jersey. There are no friends in this hobby. I don't like any of you. This is just networking for me. So yeah.
That's why you
Thank
got
God
kicked
you're
from
north
the
of the
call for a
border.
minute.
Yeah.
Are Canadians allowed to have friends?
Not a mare of friends. Only if you can save me money on shipping. Then maybe we can talk.
Well, I mean, if we ship from here, it's going to be expensive, so we just ship from there because you get the discount.
I don't know how to respond to that. That makes no sense whatsoever. See, this is why, calmness is power, but this is why we can't have friends. I can't be friends with you guys. See, I mean, it's always American
Well,
versus Canadian.
with the exchange rate, you can only have 3/4 of a friend.
Listen to this guy talking about how we can't be friends and shit, when just last week he's like, hey, you got a radio show? I'm like, no. He calls me up anyway, and he's like, yo, man, you got to come up and go to a Toronto-Detroit game with me sometime.
That never happened.
Yeah, bullshit.
That never happened. I was just trying to see if you knew
and
any
we can
leads
go
on a Maple Leafs jersey, and that was it. That's the only reason I
We
called.
can go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. I mean, we had like a half-hour conversation.
This is a good conversation. Derek was telling me about what his wife looks like, and if he's into, I said if I come down, where would I
Where's this
stay?
going?
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, So I think it's good. I think we're gonna, I gotta come down there. We're gonna make a few deals, and that's a good experience. Friends are good. Friends are good. Love the hobby.
All right, so we got a couple of Chicago guys on here, right? We got Pete and Eric. You guys are Chicago, yeah?
Yeah.
We are.
Oh, Derek. Yeah, that's right. Derek's Chicago
too.
too. Shit, we got Chicago representing tonight. Eric just peaced out for a minute, and we're getting calls dropped and added, so he'll be back. So, Pete, tell us a little bit about some of your friends out in the Chicagoland area.
Well, Eric and Derek are definitely, more in touch with me than most others. And most of my happy friends, are, definitely out of state and out of country and out of continent as well. So there's some Scandinavian friends and German friends, and which is great. And Canadian friends let me cross the border. Like you, Derek, you guys stay on this side, but no, it's been really good. And then of course Paul out in California has been always congenial, and yourself, especially when I was going to come out to a Expo and I had a sudden illness.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Hospitalized. So I was ready to go, but it's one of those things where I was couldn't fly, couldn't leave the house kind of day after I got home from the hospital. So.
Now,
But it was good. It was a great way to meet everyone. Actually, Derek provided live video streaming for me, and walking his laptop all around everyone's tables and getting me involved. Though I was back here, so it was something that I always think about. And I think it's a friendly gesture because you did not know me at all. I think back then, and it was these are things that we look forward to in friendship. Yeah, before collecting, is the good-hearted natured individual.
Now, one of the things that I think is really cool having so many of you Chicago peoples on the show is the part about us trying to arrange an expo, and I think we have enough lead time to be able to do it because we're talking about doing one here in 2017. What was it, April, something like that?
April 8th is the date we're looking at.
And so I think one of the things about that is the college hockey that's going to be happening around that time in Chicago, which should bring, a decent amount of people looking to be in the area. So we are going to try and capitalize on that and have a get-together slash expo slash whatever you want to call it at a pretty cool venue there. And we'd like to garner interest, and it'd be really cool because of, the attraction that's going to be there, which is the college hockey events, to get people from all over the country to come to one central location. It's very rare that we have an opportunity to do that, because usually you see a bunch of people from the same general vicinity going to the same expos, and you get the occasional 3, 4, 5 handful of people going to different ones as they can. But I think with this amount of lead time, we can really capitalize on it and get people together that normally wouldn't have the opportunity. So I'm really hoping we can garner up some interest with that and get people together. And Derek Christensen's actually front-heading a lot of that. He's done a lot of research to try and get something like that off the ground and going. So we're going to be putting out feelers through the website as well as the Facebook groups to try and get an idea of who wants to try and go, so we can kind of get a head count and make sure it's going to be a viable opportunity, and see what we can do to get something pretty big going on there. It'd be really nice to see how many people we can actually get going.
Hey, when you talk about college hockey, then I assume you mean the Frozen Four, so you're targeting early April?
Yeah, it's the Frozen Four weekend, so
that's the 6th through the 8th.
Is at night, April 8th, and so we're looking to have the expo earlier that day, and probably maybe 10 to 3 range time-wise.
That sounds awesome.
Sweet. I'm only 3.5 hours away. Hell yes.
There you go. Again, I think, as Derek was mentioning, it's a really good location. I think it's a good central location. And obviously, besides the expo, you've got some really great college hockey going on as well, too. So, I've been talking with Derek and Paul and Pete, and we just all think it's a win-win situation. We think it's a great opportunity, so might as well get it going now. We've actually already got a venue lined up, so we're now just kind of working on the logistics and just trying to get, as Derek mentioned, interest in getting people to come.
I have never in my life been to Chicago. This is a great reason to do it.
There you go.
Yeah, we definitely enjoy our town.
Missing out. Yeah, I love that. I haven't been there in 04 when I graduated to Paul, so it'll be great to go back to my old campus and everything.
I think
we could work a game, our own little game in. Johnny's down the road or some other local rink or something.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be kind of cool. I'd be up for that too.
Yeah,
that means we get to
just a
shoot
lot of
pucks.
opportunity. A lot of opportunity here, and I really think that with the lead time and the event, it's going to make it easier for other people from different areas of the country, even the world, to come to this one
I'm not coming down there. I'm not.
Fuck you, Marco. Get your ass down there.
Where is this again? I'll come.
Go play with your Monopoly money.
It's in Chicago, actually?
It's in Chicago. You want to go to Chicago.
I do want to go to Chicago. I got a buddy in Chicago. There you go.
There you go.
It'll be fun.
Listen to this guy.
Make sure you write this down. We
there.
can document. Marco said he is coming.
No, we got it on the record. This is all recorded. It'll be on iTunes.
Are you sure this time?
That was just me. I had to overdub. All you guys were fine. Shoot. But yeah.
No, I think that's a fantastic location. And I should know that. I'm assuming, are they playing the Frozen Four at United Center?
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect.
Yeah, and the venue that we have is actually a city as well too. It's a couple miles maybe from the UC, so it's just a great central location. Everything's really come together so far, and like I said, the main thing right now is just trying to get people interested. And as Derek mentioned, we're just trying to start it early. I think we give enough people enough time. I think we can make this happen.
Oh yeah, given that lead time, it helps people plan for that, and I say it'd be an easy trip up for me. Pack my car full of stuff, and if we can get an actual game together, And if some people coming in don't have enough gear, let me know. I know some of you guys probably have stuff laying around. I got a bunch I could take up to help people out. That's not a big deal.
We've already got a listener letting us know. I think it's Conrad Peterson saying that he'd definitely be in for the Expo in Chicago.
Awesome. Yeah, and Jason, I like your idea about like a pickup game or so too. That might be a good Friday night activity. You know, with the semifinals being Thursday night, and then the Expo and championship game Saturday. You know, we need kind of like a Friday activity. People are coming in, obviously, for the whole event. So that's definitely something looking as well. So I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, beer and hockey would go great together.
Well, we got two
Absolutely.
goalies, that's for sure. So we
Yeah,
just need
at
players to
least.
fill out.
I'm a goalie too, so it's 3 right there, right?
Can you skate?
Oh,
Because I
I
can't.
haven't since mites.
I'm a perma goalie because I can't skate.
Fine, I'll take one for the team and skate out. I do both anyway.
There you go.
There you go, Doc.
Both ways.
Maybe somebody can take some time and teach me how to skate. Oh, but yeah, I think that'll
Take
be.
gloves to break in, don't you?
Yeah, right.
Look at it like this, Jason. If you skate out, you get to shoot pucks at Derek.
That's very true. And if he can't skate well, that means I may actually have a chance to put some by him.
There you
Oh,
go.
listen to all this hate.
You could just
Well, it's friendship night. Come on.
boarding calls left, right, and center on Whitaker.
Marco's gonna drive. I'm gonna have to lay him out. I'm gonna have to pull a hassock on his ass.
Mhm.
Oh, but yeah, I think the Expo would be like a really good chance to really broaden some people's, experience folder. Just there's so much to do, and there's so many collectors in Chicago. Some of you might not know Dave in Chicago, but he, I had put a message out, and this is a really cool story. I put a message out saying, I was gonna be in the Chicago area, whatever. I was, looking for places to stay, like what hotels are around an ice rink, because I was going there for the GGSU Legends Camp with Garrett Sparks and some other pros now.
You slut.
Yeah, yup, slooting it out. But yeah, and Dave got at me and he was like, "You don't get a hotel, you can come crash at my place. I'm right across the rink." And he gave me his address. He's like, we never met, we've never talked. Actually, we did meet one time, but we knew of each other because we were both at the Toledo Detroit Expo, but we didn't really know each other. He was just like, I'll be home at such and such a time, just make yourself at home when you get there and we'll get everything taken care of. And I was like, wow, this guy doesn't even know me and he's trusting me, with his house. And it was really cool. But the
You
craziest-
robbed him blind.
I wish, man.
Never
Some of the
talk to him
jerseys that
again.
he had were epic. But the worst part is I got sick at goalie camp. I ended up doing a half day Wednesday. I was sick on Thursday, couldn't go. I was just laid out in his guest bedroom all day Thursday. Friday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, I had to have him take me to the hospital. He got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to take me to the hospital.
Jesus.
But yeah, it all worked out. I mean, the hospital fixed me up, whatever. I got home, and this year he saved the ticket for the Chicago-Detroit game in Chicago for me and invited me out. It was a really good time. So, I mean, you really underestimate, or you can underestimate, just making a random friend, or, just paying attention to the people that are around. Because there's so many opportunities to do cool things with people and get to know them, and you get to really meet some really awesome people and share in their life experiences. I can't imagine where I would be right now without really good friends in this hobby like Paul. I know I went from Dave to Paul there, but I'm just saying it really is all about friendships and shit.
No, but there's a lot of that. Like Tom and I talk back and forth a lot on jerseys we're looking for in that, and the just a couple up on NHL auctions from Fanatics with the Blues ones, and we were in the last. Neither one of us got any in the last round that they had last week, but at least we were talking to each other, saying, "Hey, I'm going to bid on this one. You can bid on that one." We weren't going to screw each other over on bidding on jerseys. And it's even those kind of things. Is sometimes you're gonna butt heads and both people are gonna want the same jersey, but a lot of time, I don't need one bad enough to piss somebody else off if I know they need it for their collection or whatever. I'm like, there's always gonna be, especially with the current crop of players and that, there's always gonna be another one.
That's a huge difference even now compared to like pre-massive emergence of social media. Is kind of almost in parallel with that emergence has come the just mass flood of jerseys and accessibility. So it's in very few cases are you directly competing with somebody for something that is irreplaceable, which is, debatable whether or not that's always a good thing, but it's certainly a fact of the matter.
Well, then you can, organize stuff with people, and when you have a couple people helping each other out for specific things that can work out what you want between each other, it just makes it all that easier. I mean, look at some of the stories with me and Jason Livernois with the Red Wing sale. Me and Jason, we go there, and I really love that time of the year just because I get to see Jason. We hang out, and we look for stuff for each other. Before the sale, we're like, hey man, what are you looking at? He tells me, I'm like, well, here's what I'm looking at. All right, well, when I'm standing there, when I see it, I'll grab it, and we work it out later, and, everybody gets what they want, and if there's something that overlaps, we compromise. We're like, you can have this one, and I'll take that one, or, you can really have that one much, you probably want it more than I do, and things like that. So, compromising helps with situations like that, when you have jerseys that you're looking at the same time, but just knowing that those people are going to be around, and you can even befriend people that piss you off too, like look at me and Marco, or look at me and Steven Brooks, right? So Steven, for those who don't know, he grabbed the Glendennings at the Red Wing sale last year because he ended up being there at like 5 o'clock before we were there or some shit like that, right? And they were the first ones in line. Well, after they nabbed the Glendennings, they finally got them, and they beat the guy that always gets them. We talk a lot. He's come down. I took him to a walleye game, and he's all, he knows if he ever needs quick money for anything that I'll buy it off of him. He did something that I didn't like, not knowing, I mean, not knowing, but, he did something that you would think you wouldn't be able to be cool with. And we ended up being cool, and a good friendship developed out of that. And me and him, we chat at least once or twice a week now, and we've gone to games together, and we, a bad situation turned really good, and I think he's going to go to the sale this year, and we're going to see him up there, and it's going to be a good time.
Fellas, I really, I do have to apologize, but I got to get going. But you guys take care of yourself, and I was joking about the non-friendship stuff, just in case, you guys see some Leaf stuff. We are friends until I have all the jerseys I need, and then you'll never hear from me again. So anyways, you guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
We'll see you in Chicago.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm looking forward to that. Take care, guys.
All right, see you, Marco.
See you, Marco.
See ya.
Take care.
Yes, he's gone. Let's talk shit about him.
Now we do that when he's here.
Yeah, it's fun when he's there.
Yeah, it's much more
Yeah.
fun. No, but yeah, I mean, there's cool experiences like this. There's bullshitting with you guys, man. Like, honestly, these radio show calls, they make me happy. They really do. Getting all you guys together, just bullshitting, is a really fun time for me. Even, the pre-call before the show, the post-show, And I mean, it's tons of fun.
I submit I like it a lot. I know my wife gives me crap about it for the post-call shows being on till, I don't know, almost sometimes midnight, talking to, a couple of the guys afterwards. But for me, I like doing the calls. I like the whole GameWorn stuff because I've only met everyone through Facebook. I haven't personally seen anyone because I live out in the middle of the woods, so I don't get much hockey. Where I'm at, I have to drive 45 minutes to an hour, and even 2 hours to 4 hours to go see a professional game. But with the hobby, it's actually made me more comfortable with where I live. I can actually talk to adults instead of seeing my kids all day or talk to the cats or the dogs that I have.
Well, and the coolest part, I mean, we haven't even touched on it. The coolest part is we all get along because we're jersey collectors, not because we like the same team or anything like that.
Right.
It's
Right.
all about legitimately the hobby, not.
I think from that perspective, it's a really great. I mean, to me, for the longest time, especially before the social stuff came on board, it almost sometimes felt like, man, this is a crazy thing. Like nobody else is really into this stuff. Like nobody really gets it. But now that you're able to kind of talk more regularly, interact more regularly, and I mean, Jason and I probably aren't going to overlap very often on teams we're collecting, but we can sit there and talk about how awesome the repair was that we saw on such and such a jersey, or any of us on this call could just kind of, we have a lot of common threads, even if we're not into the same team or the same league or players or whatever.
And that's a lot of. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, kind of going on that, is I've kind of got my wife into liking it a little bit. She likes it, but she doesn't like it that, I have over 20 jerseys.
It's because you're spending money. She don't like you spending money.
Right. but she'll, because we'll sit, like today we were watching the Flyers Capitals game, and then one of the Capitals, I don't remember who it was, he came up for a face-off. She goes, "What's that green stuff on his arm?" I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Look at his jersey. There's a green." So I had to pause the TV and look at it. I was like, I think that's an actual Gatorade stain on his white jersey. So it was just really cool to see that she caught that before I did. And I was like, "Oh, how dare you? You're not supposed to do that, And she's gotten into it because her favorite player is Jamal Mayers, because living in St. Louis, that was one of her favorites growing up. So that's been my goal, to kind of get her collection completed with all the Jamal Mayers. So I guess I have to wait till Derek Christensen dies so I can inherit his collection.
Did you buy Jason's Mayors?
Yeah, Jason's got one you give him for Christmas, dipshit.
I keep trying, but he's already got a Blues one.
I got a Blues. I got a white Blues. I have a Maple Leafs one with the A and blood on it from a fight he had. And then I have another one I'm in the process to get for her 40th. For her birthday coming up in July. Oops.
Her 29th birthday?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that number. So I'm hoping to get that completed. So,
What's funny? Jason, you just posted to the chat box a link to a Brett Hull game issue jersey on eBay.
Yes.
And it immediately made me think about one of the things I like about the community that we've built within this hobby. There are a million questions that come up anytime you see, especially like a Brett Hull Blues jersey, because of the custom crafted issues and all that stuff. And I was just about to bring up a couple questions related to this jersey. I was like, the fact that I can is awesome. The fact that you guys know what I'm talking about. If I'm like, I'm not really sure, I don't know what I'm looking for in terms of, whether or not this is even game issued, given the custom crafted issues. But I know that there's a community of people that you can ask with a insanely specific question like that, and people are willing to help each other out. And not only that, but also have the knowledge base in order to get to the bottom of some of that stuff.
Well, and they also will give you second opinions. If you think if you're going to buy something or you want to sell something or trade something, you can ask somebody, is this a fair trade? Is this too high? What should I offer? Mm-hmm. You have people that could say, hey, yeah, you're out of the ballpark, or yeah, it's a good starting point. and you go from there. So yeah, you get a second opinion on stuff, then which helps you out too when you're doing, 'cause sometimes we drop some money on these jerseys, and sure don't want to be wasteful buying something that's not overpaying for something, or something that's fake or something like that.
Oh yeah.
One of the things for people to think about too is how many other collectors there are out there and all this potential to make friends. And I mean, you don't even have to make friends for the benefits or whatever. Sometimes it's a mutually beneficial relationship. I know Phil Watson is one of the guys that I talk to a lot now. I talk to him almost every single day. We do a lot of stuff together. The first time I actually met him in person, we were actually splitting a room for the Migrate Expo last year. And so, I mean, it helped us both out financially. We split the cost of the room, and then we even, coordinated what we were packing, split table, sharing. And that's something that people can think about, going to this Chicago thing. Maybe you're going through an area and there's a collector there, and you pick them up and you take them with you, and you carpool there, or you're splitting a hotel room with another person that's going, or you're consolidating tables and coordinating what you're gonna bring. There's just a lot of opportunity with with everybody that has the potential out there just to be, and that's why you don't burn bridges. You never know who somebody knows, or there's that degree of separation. I think it's a lot small. Everybody says, what is it, like 8 people apart for everybody in the world or some shit like that. I think among collectors it's like 2 degrees or 3 degrees at the most. Like, for as many people as we have, it's a lot of really tight knit webs.
I would say the majority of the friend recommendations I get these days on Facebook are other collectors.
True, I agree to that.
And you see when they come up, you see how many mutual friends we have with these people. And it's pretty awesome. I was thinking about that the other day.
Hey Bobby, I look at that when the people ask to join the group that you and I started.
Me too.
I look at if they got mutual friends or they got friends in the group, then I approve them. If they got nobody, chances are I don't approve them. I look at their page. If they don't have nothing, if they don't have nothing there for me to look at, to research, I don't approve them.
But if they got a little bit.
Yeah, if they got a mutual friend, automatic approval. I was like, oh, he knows Bobby, great. He knows Derek, okay, got it. You got it. If you know theirs or you're mutual friends with them, just approve you, because you trust that the guys that or I should say the collectors that I know there's females over there that collect jerseys, that they wouldn't be friends with that person if they didn't trust that person. So it's almost like a vetting process,
Yeah. I agree. Now, on the other hand, we've talked about you get to know great people and you get to interact. The other thing I've run into, and I don't think this is unique to one team or anything, and I'm sure you guys probably have similar stories. But so, for example, with Carolina, I do not know personally, but I know of 2 or 3 people that are extremely avid collectors of Carolina Hurricanes jerseys who actively stay off of social. They do not want to interact with other collectors. They see other collectors strictly as competition. They will not post what they have. They will not articulate in any level of detail what they have. They're like jersey hermits.
I've heard of, high-end collectors doing shit like that too.
Yeah.
I just feel like if you do that, that's great for you or whatever, but you're missing out. Like, life is so much more about possessions, man. The more
if you've got that high-end jersey that's the Mario Lemieux winning jersey from the 91 Stanley Cup, maybe you don't post that because for security reasons,
right,
theft and stuff. But most of us are collecting jerseys that are plentiful, and they're serialized and everything like that. So why are you not sharing it? Why are you not talking about it? Why, those guys there that,
maybe
whatever.
maybe they're afraid to get all the annoying like messages. Oh, I'll buy it from you for 1,000, or I'll buy it from you for 50, or buy, get those people. Because when I posted that McGinnis I had, I can't tell you how many comments. Oh, are you going to sell it? You going to give it to me? Did you not read what I just wrote about the jersey? It's getting buried with me.
One of the
Right.
things I'm working on to try and combat this, and hopefully it works, is a way to be able to post stuff that you have, but also have the option to make it anonymous. So like a jersey database,
Right.
so people know what is actually out there. And then if you don't want people to know that it's actually something that you have and don't want to add it to your like personal collection, but you want to let people know it exists and they can enjoy the pictures of it or the story behind it, you can do that anonymously. And that's gonna be something that comes hopefully when I get some friggin' time. But you know, there's so much cool things that I've heard of that, you know, as you said, hermit collectors have. And that's part of collecting, is the enjoyment of it. Like, we like going to these expos not because we want to get everything that's there, but we enjoy looking at them and seeing like the different wear and repairs on them, and how they were made, or you know, some of the eccentric, you know, things that people notice on the jerseys, or what is it, the green tomahawks on a red Blackhawks jersey or something that's like ultra rare. Yeah, that one. You know, seeing something like that, stuff that you normally wouldn't see elsewhere, that's what it's about, you know.
I think a lot of people are missing the point, though, of the expos. Is they look at it, even some fellow collectors think of it as a competition or a one-up. For me, it's just like, if I acquire something unique, I like to share it with people, and that's pretty much the gist of the whole thing. I don't need to compete, in a sense. I'm not looking to compete. Sometimes we do compete for the same items. Eric and I have competed, you know, at auction. There's other ways and avenues too to get unique items, but I think sharing them with others that are, let's say, you know, with Red Wings fans, and they see Chicago stuff, and then, you know, Chicago guys see Red Wings stuff, you know. So I think that's something that everyone's kind of missing the boat. It's not a point of a pissing contest, but it's just a matter of, hey, you know what? We either snagged a unique piece of hockey history from either going to the Hockey Hall of Fame, where it sits in a vault closet box, or it goes to, you know, to a card company and gets cut up. So, you know, again, it's something that there might be something historical, there might be something unique, a game experience, and you want a jersey from that game. So there's all kinds of reasons why you collect. But to show them, I think, you know, I think everyone should be open-minded about what they show and what they feel is unique to them and their collection.
You know, that's a great point that you made too, is like when jerseys go to the Hockey Hall of Fame, that's cool and all, but a lot of that shit we won't see because of the weird rotations that they have with displaying the shit. They have way more shit than they can display at a time. And when we have it in the hands of a collector, they can bring it out and bring it to expos and things like that, or take pictures and throw them up online and archive them and things like that. And I feel like you generally tend to see more of the rare things not from the Hockey Hall of Fame because of the sheer quantity that they archive, we'll say.
Yep.
You know, having jerseys in the hands of collectors is a great thing. It is for displaying and sharing purposes.
I think it's cool that when guys share their stories too, and not just why do you have it. Why do you collect this person or this team or whatever, you know? And that makes it unique instead of saying, yeah, I got it. Oh, okay, why do you got it?
Right.
Well, it's so-and-so. Okay, I see who it is, but why did you get that jersey? How does it fit your collection? How does it fit you? And you know, those are what you want to hear. You want to hear those stories, you know, and why people do certain things. It's so broad, you know, too. So
it's just I can't imagine. And look, to each their own. But I can't imagine collecting. This is a pricey hobby. I can't imagine putting this kind of investment into a collection if you can't just enjoy it, if you could only enjoy it by yourself. I think so much of it, I love posting the jerseys online because I love the comments and engaging in conversation, and I love looking at other people's collections exactly because of what you just described with the story and everything. It just, the whole experience. I mean, Derek, when you just mentioned the Expo in Chicago, the first thing I was wondering to myself is, well, how am I going to get jerseys or a bunch of jerseys from Tampa to Chicago, because I want to be able to take them and show them, and I want to see, and my hope is that other people do the same thing, because I want to see these great collections in person. It's just so cool. I just couldn't agree more that it's important to have them in the hands of collectors for that reason.
If you need some advice on that, I can help you, because I took my entire collection from Toledo to San Jose for their West Coast get-together a few years ago. My whole collection.
I would love to talk more about that, because yes, that's what I want to do. I don't think I'm going to get the whole collection up there, but at least a big part of it.
Yeah, and I even brought back from there like 72 hockey sticks.
Oh my god!
Checked it all under the plane, man.
Did you rent a storage trailer? Just have shit.
Yeah.
Well, I had somebody with me, my wife, right? So I packed up what I could, like my high dollar stuff, in a carry-on, and I carried on. It was weird. My carry-on consisted of only jerseys, and then I packed my clothes.
Yeah,
that's normal.
That is pretty normal.
And the cool thing with the carry-on is it's not about weight with the carry-on. The carry-on is about size. So if you can pack that thing strategically, you're good to go.
I think the other thing that Pete kind of just said it though about the friendships, is sometimes we do compete, but because we are friends, we don't let that interfere with our friendships. We let it go a lot easier. We're like, fine, you take it this time, or this or whatever the case may be, because we put the friendship above the jersey. And if you weren't friends and didn't have the social media to be friends and have certain ways, you'd probably have more competitors out there than to be more, pissed off people and stuff,
Well, I mean, look at me and Stephen Brooks, We went after the same exact thing. We knew at that point that we'd be going after the same exact thing, and now we're totally cool. Like, I mean, it sucked for that moment in time.
Well, yeah. Well, what happened with the jersey that you and the jersey you had that I wanted?
No, that's true.
It sucked for a moment, but then what I ended up saying at the end of the day, I said,
"It's not
fuck
worth
it, man."
sacrificing a friendship, man.
No, I said, fuck it, man. It's a jersey. It's a jersey, and like Marco says, just give it time, and the damn things come back around. You just don't have to be more patient. So, I think the friendships allow you to get over that a lot easier than being always so pissed off, and you're willing to say, it's not worth it, because the friendship will go a lot longer and a lot farther than the jersey will.
All these possessions and items are just borrowed anyway. You're not going to be able to hold on to them forever. It's, life is so much bigger than that.
And you can't take them with you.
It's so true.
You can, but it'd be one damn big ass casket.
And it'd be a waste.
Yes. And I mean, half the time, and I've made deals with a lot of people, with jerseys, and Derek, I'm even holding one for him. At what I paid, dude. Whenever I'm hanging on to it, but I'm selling it to Derek the same price I paid, because I got it. I'm like, this really doesn't fit with what I want, and Derek and I were both interested in it when it originally came up, and we talked. He's like, hey, you know what? I got plenty. You can have it. And now, what's it been? A month and a half, and I shot Derek a message. Hey, you want this at what I paid? It's yours. And I'd rather make deals, even if I just break even, make deals with people because I know they want them.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I've had a lot of experiences with a bunch of my friends like that, like Paul. Me and him, trade jerseys back and forth at cost all of the time. Shoot, when I go to sales, I even, as much as I hate the Toledo market, right, I still buy shit that I think some people in the Toledo market would want, just to have the potential to cultivate a friendship. And I sell it to them at the cost that I got. I just think they'd be interested in it. You know, like if a Walleye player goes up to Grand Rapids and plays and comes back, and I see the jersey and I get it, you know, I bring it back, and you know, if a fan down here wanted it, you know, it's yours at cost. And a guy named Mike, I've sold a couple jerseys. We've made a trade, you know, and we've kind of developed a friendship just out of me doing stuff like that. You know, it's putting yourself out there, you know, and sometimes, you know, you get things that you think somebody wants but they don't, so then you sell it somewhere else and you develop a relationship with somebody else to do that. You know, everything always has an upside. It might have a financial downside for a moment, but there's always an upside, because my experiences that I have had through my friendships have actually saved me so much money, probably more than I could get out of being a dick in jersey collecting. You know, between having a place to stay with friends in different places in Chicago and San Jose, or tickets to one of the games or something like that, or just getting something, trading it between cost and, or, you know, like between me and Derek Christensen, he had a jersey that he was selling, and you know, I was like, what are you trying to get? He's like, oh, I've been trying to get something that I really wanted. I was like, well, I don't really want it, but I'll take it so you can get what you can get, and I'll sell it at some point in time later when I don't want it hanging around. And then when finally I decided, you know, maybe it's time to get rid of this, you know, he bought it right back at cost.
Yeah, like, what, 5 months later? Probably something like that. I mean, it was not even that long of a time.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, everything has a way of working out. You know, you
Right.
just got to put yourself out there.
Patience is a huge piece of it too. I mean, everything shows back up eventually.
Yeah. And
Almost everything.
There's been some. I've done a couple player deals, and that's a lot of patience with players.
Yes.
Holy crap! I mean, it's 6 to 9 months. I mean, incubating, and when it happens, it's great. And then you try to go back and say, hey, what else you selling? And then they're like, they don't even want to talk to you anymore. They got the money, then that's all they cared about. But they do admit that they have stuff, so it's kind of unique. But I think that again, the whole thing is that we're going to, all this stuff is going to circulate at one point or another. I got a 14-year-old goalie son, so he collects low-end patched goalies. I think Bobby and I did a deal on a Tampa, and then and some of these guys were just backups, so they're anywhere from $350 to $500, and then some of them have come up and been number ones, which is nice. And some have just gone nowhere. So, but a lot of my collection will go to him, and which is kind of unique. Actually, at the DC Expo, I have the 300th win mask of Islanders Nabokov, and I found the jersey there at the DC Expo by total accident. So from that game, so we bought that. So that's the mask and that jersey are in this collection now. So which I was selling at one time. So things happen for a reason. You go to other places, go to see cool stuff, you go to meet great people, and I think that's what it's all about.
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I got a lot of stuff just because people were looking out for me. You know, when I was trying to put together my my Glendenning gear set, people would go to the Joe for a game. They'd stop into the store at the Joe, and they'd send me a text message or a Facebook message like, hey man, they got this Glendenning gloves or these Glendenning pants, you want me to pick them up for you? And I was, yeah man, thanks for looking out. Shit, Stephen Brooks even went up there when I was kind of looking for socks, because mannequin legs were looking pretty bare, and he's like, yo man, I'll get you some socks. I was like, all right man, cool. So, well, it's very easy to undervalue relationships. I mean, I think, to be honest, I think the relationships, in my opinion, are much more valuable than the actual jerseys we're collecting, man.
You're right.
Yeah. How can you argue that? You can't argue that. The friendships that you make, are far outweigh the jersey.
You can't really have one. You can't build a collection without being able to build relationships. Or I guess you can with a pile of money, but it's going to be a really big uphill battle the whole way, start to finish.
Because if you had the money, you can just wait for the NHL auctions or whatever and just buy them. But what fun is that?
Yeah.
Well, I've been involved.
The chase is the fun part.
Yeah, I've been involved with high-end collectors that use buffers. They don't want to be known. They don't want to, and they're they're deep-pocketed guys. And I had one guy buy 23 of my 70s, 23 Dureens of my 70s Blackhawks, in one sale, and I was like, holy crap. It was a good, it was good for me to move because I was moving on to some other things, and I just I wanted most of my collection is 80s and early 90s, Hawks, because I basically started as a season ticket holder in 1981. I had fifth row box seats for $11 a seat. So I got and I held on to those through the end of the '94 season. So, but again, I mean, it's kind of weird dealing with certain individuals that don't want to deal with it. Either they're they're Wall Street or bigger type individuals. They are hockey fans, but it's strange when somebody out of the blue contacts you and says, "Looking to buy as many Blackhawks jerseys as you're able to sell." It's like, holy cow! It's like, are they real? The first question is, are they real?
Yeah.
Then you start Googling them. Then you start asking other people, who, you ever heard of this person? So it's interesting.
I have a problem that I hope other people get to have someday, where you have so many friends from this hobby that you can't keep a lot of them straight.
Uh-huh. I did that today when I was trying to help one of another collector out in the Facebook group. He was looking for a Manning jersey, and I got my European collectors mixed up. So
It's not a bad problem to have, and sometimes I feel bad about it. Like, ooh, that wasn't you.
You just laugh about it.
But I mean,
Sorry, man.
That's a good sign.
My bad.
The search function in Facebook chat has become very helpful.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, my message list is long.
Yeah.
You just search out a name or whatever, but sometimes you mess up.
It's better when you do the search in the actual Facebook group. That's made it so much better too. And it's like, what player am I looking for? Let's see who has it. I did that when I was looking for a certain player, and I was finding, it was on sale back in 2014. I messaged him, and they're like, yeah, I sold that jersey. I was, well, you didn't say it in your post. I was just making sure. What the hell is that noise?
I think Derek's sawing something.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that was me. I've got drywall on my shoe.
I thought it was your hamster.
Anyway, we'll close with that. We only got a small amount of time left, but definitely to anyone listening right now, be looking out on all of our different social media outlets as well as our website. We're going to try and put that information for the Chicago Expo together, and we'd really like to try and get the best head count that we can and see how many people we can actually get going. And we'd like to make this thing big, so it doesn't get big without all of our collectors. So let's get everybody on board. I want to thank all you guys for joining today. It seems like the time went way too fast. So 2 weeks, we'll figure out what we want to talk about. We'll put it up there and broadcast that and get going. It's great to have some of the guys that we don't get to see too much, Eric, Pete, and Derek. As far as you regulars, Jason, Tom, Bobby, Dan. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You guys.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.